Hey, good morning or good afternoon. I'm here, and Gerald, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Okay. Well, thanks everybody for joining us today. This is fun for all of us. We're learning a few things, sort of like in the ham radio model. We go guns a-blazing forward and try a few things. And today, not only do we have JP with me, but we have Gerald Youngblood. Gerald's the Chief Executive Officer for FlexRadio Systems. I've had the honor of knowing Gerald not only as an employee, but as a customer for, wow, one very long time. One very knowledgeable person, and always happy when I get to listen to him one-on-one. So we'd like to take a few minutes, and I've asked Gerald to come forward and speak about a few things, maybe a bit of what we're doing, and we're actually want to talk a bit about our amplifier today, the Power Genius Amplifier, and some of the cool things it can do. And so I guess with no further ado, because he's a busy man and he's expensive to have him here with me, I'll turn it over to Gerald. Gerald?
Well, thanks. This is fun. A new thing for me here. Of course, I've been spending a lot of time on video, as I know everybody has these days. It seems like I spend 6 to 8 hours on video every day. So they call it Zoom fatigue, I guess. But anyway, it's good because I can still stay in touch with my grandkids and my family and those kinds of things, and have even found that I've connected with friends I haven't connected with in quite a while. So I know everybody has been kind of tired of being shut in. It was kind of interesting. It actually gave me more time to work on my antennas. There's a saying that a cobbler's kids have no shoes. That's kind of true when you run a ham radio company. You end up, your antennas fall down while you're working on all the other things. So I got out and put up a 40 meter and 80 meter dipole a couple of weekends ago, so I can get back on those bands and starting to work a little bit on my home shack. So there are good things about being shut in here at home. It doesn't mean you're out doing other things, so that's kind of cool. I know everybody in the world has been impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic, and some of the ways it's affected us at FlexRadio is that with some of the stay-at-home orders, we had to reduce the number of people to, in the early days, one person at a time in a building at most. And so that meant we were very limited on what we could do in terms of shipping and shipping products and servicing products. So what we did, and I have to really credit our team that's done a great job, is they were willing to go to 2 shifts a day, 7 days a week, in order to have one person in the building, but still keep product flowing through. And so I really appreciate what our service team and shipping team have done to keep product flowing through those times. Fortunately, with better understanding of how to manage it, and with some of our Texas governor, some of the guidelines that came out this week, we think we have a plan that will expand our capacity in parallel by keeping people spread out, continuing to keep most of the people in our company that can work from home working from home, but the people that physically need to be there, that they can still be there. So it's obvious that the 3 of us on here are working from our homes, and in some ways that's more efficient. I get less interruptions and I can really focus, and so there are good things about it too, but I really do miss the face-to-face time with folks in the office. So I wouldn't mind having 1 or 2 days a week like that if we could get back to that. Certainly would love to hug my grandkids too. I hadn't gotten to do that in a while, so I bet a bunch of you are like that as well. So anyway, we're making progress with that. I guess one thing that's really a disappointment for all of us in the ham radio business is this is the time of year where we get to meet face to face at the biggest ham fest of the year. The Visaya IDXCC we missed last week because it was shut down in Visaya, California. Of course, Dayton is the big show. that was supposed to be in 2 weeks, and we won't be going for the first time in the history of Flex Radio. We won't be in Dayton. So that's, I know, Mike, you've been to a few of those. That's going to be kind of a strange thing, right?
I'm going to miss my 8-hour drive, which isn't bad because I usually operate HF while I'm on the road, but I'm going to miss it.
And JP, this would have been your first with Flex Radio.
Yes, yeah. I was very excited about it. But well, next year.
Yeah. And they've canceled the ham radio in Friedrichshafen is canceled for June. That's quite a trip. I've done it several times and got to drive. My wife and I went over 1 year, and we drove from there to the north of Germany 1 year after ham radio. And but it's always fun to meet people, our customers in Europe, and won't get to do that this year. And I think they've canceled even Hamfest out through the summer. So it's a strange year. So we're trying to do things a different way and do them on video. And I'm going to try to get on the air a little more, hopefully. So,
I'll have to get you some new QSL cards spun up.
Oh, I really do need some QSL cards.
I have a few ideas.
Good. I do need help. This is serious. I need somebody, it's the shoes thing. Somebody needs to help me get QSL cards. By the way, I had a fun opportunity back right before everything closed down at the end of February and the first week of March. My wife and I went to California, and we got to go to a taping of Last Man Standing, which, as many of you know, has the only live ham radio club station on a TV set probably ever, from what they said. And I got to operate it for about an hour and made about 65 contacts on sideband. It was a lot of fun. Quite noisy there. They have a very QRN kind of situation, but it was still a lot of fun to do that. So, Mike, anything you want to jump in on, please feel free
this
to.
Is real enjoyable. I'm actually reading all the chats that are coming in from people, and you and I both. I need to do a better QSL card. It's been a while, but since we seem to have a new person here who has a real marketing design background, I think we might be able to leverage them just a bit.
All right, I'll take you up on that. So you promised. Oops, knock my earbuds out. One other thing I wanted to mention that we're doing at Flex Radio this month. When we first got shut down, and I saw how many people were being laid off all over the world, and I saw the lines that were popping up, waiting for food at the food banks. It really struck me, and so it really struck me that I need to help out in whatever way I can, because we're fortunate to have jobs, and a lot of people don't right now. And there are a lot of people who are ham that are in the high risk category, just like me and my family. I'm in that age group, and a lot of us have family members that are high risk, so we really need to stay in. And so we've decided at Flex Radio for the month of March to donate a significant amount of our sales dollars coming in this month on each radio to Meals on Wheels. And so, and that came out, we put information in our newsletter earlier, I guess it came out last week, announcing that. And so another thing I talked a little bit about in the Insider is this is a great time to Elmer other hams, maybe new hams or maybe introducing them. I remember my Elmer, Don Johnson. I remember, there are probably not many people I remember from that many years ago, but I was in the 10th grade, and he was the physics teacher at my high school, and he helped me build my first transmitter and get me on the air. It was a 6L6 crystal transmitter with an Hal Crafter's S38 receiver that was brought. It received all of 40 meters at once.
Yeah. Actually, one over there to repair. So.
Yeah. So,
was that the same Don Johnson that did the screwdriver antenna?
Probably not. No.
Okay.
He was in Wesson, Mississippi.
Oh, that might be him. I have to look that up.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And we built an FM, a non-commercial broadcast FM station on the campus of the junior college there. And that was what got me into my career. And I went back for my 50th reunion last fall, and the antenna is still there that we put up that long ago, is still on a building. It's not hooked up, but it's a cross-polarized circular antenna for FM broadcasts. So that was really, really fun. But my point is, my Elmer, I still remember his name. I can't remember many people's name, but I remember him, and he helped me get started because I was clueless about how to build a transmitter, and he helped me. And that impacted my entire life, my entire career. And so many people, their career were impacted by ham radio, and somebody helped them get into it. So this is a great time to do that, reach out to young hams or new hams, young and old hams, and reach out to them. And I hope if you have a FlexRadio that you'll turn on your remote and let them log into your radio, even if they just listen. If a new ham just has a walkie-talkie and they don't have anybody to talk to, get them on listening to HF and get their eyes open to what HF is all about and the fun that you can have with HF. You could even get them listening, monitoring FT8 and let them get on with sideband. Let them start operating sideband. You can be the station control operator with them. So I would really encourage you to do that. Go ahead, Mike.
And Gerald, we have a video too for people that says, I think I titled it, my friend said I could borrow his radio, and it's how they walk through installing the software and everything. So it'll help get them going. So it's in our YouTube channel.
That's great. Yeah. So watch for that.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, I did find a really nice use of remoting my computer, because I was remoting my radio because I was outside working with the antennas, and I had a problem with one of my ESD protectors.
Oh.
And so I was able to take my laptop outside. I put my laptop on the air conditioner unit, and I was out there, and so I could test and look at the SWR and so forth with my laptop outside, even though the radio was inside. So there was another use that I had for the remote capabilities of the radio. So anything else, Mike or JP, on the Elmering you want to talk about there?
No, I think we're good. You want to go on to the amplifier stuff, and then I'll dance around and get your presentation up here.
Oh, yeah.
And we're getting used to the broadcaster here, so there will be a couple of funny screens you might see. But
yes.
Yeah, so one of the things that real hams can't go without seeing what's inside their equipment. At least me, I have to see what's inside of it. So I thought it might be fun to look inside a Power Genius today. So let me see if I can share my screen here. We'll try it here. Yeah. See if that works. Did that come up or did it not?
Not yet, but I'm working on it. There you go.
There
you go. Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. So we decided to open it up and take a few pictures. This is the business end of the Power Genius. And you can see that it's got a very large heat sink here. And it's made of pure aluminum. That means that it is unalloyed and it's not extruded. So it has a very high thermal conductivity. And so we're able to get a lot of heat out of the unit. These fins are actually mechanically made rather than extruded. They're made with a knife. This is a block of aluminum, and a knife cuts it and moves it up. You can see the beautiful construction inside. It's like a piece of military equipment if you've ever looked inside a military radio. This is the power amplifier section here. with cooling fans on the front. This is the filter box right here, and it has diplexed filters in it. What that means is, go ahead, Mike.
I was going to say, I don't think they can see your mouse, so I'll have to verbalize, but where the filter box is.
Oh, okay. The power amplifier, the transistors are under the panel on the right-hand side above the heatsink. In the center of the module, that you can see above the coax connectors, is the filter box, and it's a diplexed filter. That means it has high-pass and low-pass filters. The high-pass filter sends all the harmonics into a 500-watt dummy load. And that means the harmonics are dissipated as heat rather than being reflected by the low-pass filters, as in all the other amplifiers on the market. The ham radio use only low-pass filters, and those reflect the harmonics back into the transistors. Well, what does that do? That means it has to burn up the heat of the harmonics in the transistors, and it also means that you've caused additional distortion in the transistors. So you get much better linearity, lower heat, better efficiency, but it costs more to build the amplifier because you have twice as many filters. But that's a key feature of the amplifier. And then on the right, you see along the right-hand panel, you'll see that's the 3,000 watt switching power supply that's built in. The whole unit weighs, what is it, JP? 35 pounds? Is that sound
43,
right?
actually.
40, whatever.
Or 20 kilos.
20 kilos. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, and you can actually pick it up. It has a handle on the front. You can pick it up by the handle.
Yeah, I'm going to try and pick up mine here.
Oh yeah, you can show it in real time there. Yeah. So looking at further at the business end, you can see it has UHF SO239s on the back, and you'll see an A and a B. That's for an A and a B radio and an A and B antenna system. The radio can be used by two operators, like in a contest in multi-1, or it can be single operator, two band. You can operate on two bands at once as a single operator. Oh yeah, show them there.
Yeah, this is the handle here. This is very, very cool because look, you can pick it up this way. It really comes really handy, and yeah, it's 40 pounds, I would say. Yeah, 20 kilos. It's built like a brick. Oh, thank you, Michael, for changing the camera. Yes, that's the front panel, and this is the back.
Yeah,
and I can lift it up. Oh, I can,
Great.
and it's complete. You hook up a power cord, a LAN cable, and a couple of feed lines, and you're done. And I guess even more so, it doesn't have. It works incredibly well on ICOM, Kenwood, or Yaesu, or Elecraft radios as well.
Yeah,
I was surprised yesterday. I got this yesterday, and it was right out of the box. Like you only need to connect it to your LAN, the power, install the software for the amplifier, and in 5 minutes I was on the air. That was pretty quick. I was surprised.
Yeah.
Now to give JP credit. So JP's pretty new to the Flex line. He's only been with us a month or 5 weeks now.
I'm an analog guy. Ex-analog guy.
Now he's actually sold all his analog equipment, and the point is, though, I didn't help him through the amplifier. He just got it configured. I was pretty pleased with that. Anyway, sorry, Gerald, I interrupted you.
Yeah, one of the cool things too is when you use it with a FlexRadio, it's all integrated into Smart SDRs. So the metering pops up on Smart SDR or in Maestro, so that you see not only your radio output, you also see the power output of the amplifier. You see the SWR and I think the temperature, right?
Do we have that screen available, Michael, on your computer to share?
Not handy.
Okay.
I'll do it another day. We'll go through operational stuff.
Oh, that would be amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, when you turn the amp on, it pops up in Smart SDR. It recognizes.
I'm going to turn it
on. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So this is the front, so you can actually see the other side of those modules that I was telling you about earlier. You can see where the fans are. There's a nice 4-inch touchscreen display on the front panel that shows you the operation. This picture doesn't actually have it powered up because we had the unit open. Let me see if I want to go back to the back panel here for a little bit too, because let's try that. Nope, that's not it. What happened to my other panel?
Oh, I think you've got 2 of them open.
Oh, maybe that's what it is. Let me kill one.
You can share my screen now, Michael. You can see the Power Genius integrated.
Okay.
Yeah. It will be.
You're waiting for it to come online. There it is on the top right, JP.
Yes, exactly.
And the top right shows the integrated power screen while Gerald sorts out his screen. I can bring that back in a minute. And then on the top right, we get to see the forward power, the SWR, and the temperature of the amplifier. And there's no extra cabling with this. It's a LAN-based, network communication. It is incredibly automatic. And yes, Gerald, back to you on the back.
Yeah, so back, I was talking about the connectors on the back. So you could actually have, let's say you have a tri-bander on A and you have an 80-meter dipole on B. You can actually be listening on one of those antennas and transmitting on the other at the same time, and in full duplex, which is what SO2R is. You can be, if you're in a multi-operator situation, like you want to bring a friend over and operate a contest as a multi-op, you can bring a friend over, stand up a Maestro or another PC, and you can both be operating on the same band. One can be S&P while the other is calling CQ. So that's another use of it. If you're just a single operator, it works just great for a single operator. It's just like I was talking about, you could have both antennas simultaneously hooked up, and you can QSY between bands with a single touch or click. So it's a great way to operate.
In a non-contest mode, I use it where I'm on 6. I could be running 6-meter meteor scatter, which we do at high powers, but I do like to listen to some of nets in the morning on 80 meters, which is about the same time that the meteor scatter stuff is happening using WSJT and MSK 144. So I can be listening to my net, and the other half of the radio is happily trying to complete a meteor scatter QSO.
Yeah, it could also be FT8 on multiple.
I was going to mention digital mode.
Yeah. So if I had a tri-bander, and let's say 2 bands are open on my tri-bander, I can have different slice receivers on each of those bands, and I could be on 40 at the same time, or 10 or 30, whatever. So it gives you a way, and then when you instantly QSY, the amplifier follows you.
Yeah,
it's a great way to do that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, but I found also, I mean, I'm not a contester yet, but I'm a digital modes guy, and I love DX. So one of the useful features of FlexRadio and the amp is that it's not that I will be operating on both bands at the same time, but I want to listen at the same time that I'm operating a different band, because I have 2 instances of WSJTX open. So if I'm on 20 meters and suddenly I see that 10 meters is open, I can right away jump into 10 meters. And I never thought that was going to be so useful for me, because that's instant notification that a band just opened. And before, the process was completely different. Now I can immediately jump into the other band and make a contact. And I can't live without it right now. It's incredible that I believe that the entire technology is something that you really need to try it for yourself. I mean, it's really hands-on. So I would encourage Elmers and people that they have Flex radios to let their friends and to log into their computers and really experience the possibilities, because once you put your hands into it, it's hard to get away.
Well, back to the business end of the amplifier.
I wanted to, by the way, so our developers are watching. So one of our engineers, and Gerald, it was Dave. So he's texting me and he says, make sure you mention the CIV and the other band inputs for band changes. So
that's exactly where I was going. So if you look across the bottom of the radio there, you see there's a LAN connection, which makes it work great with FlexRadio. It also, there's a user interface that can control the amp and monitor the amp remotely as well. But you'll see there's some RCA connectors, a couple of RS-232 connectors, which are for CAT control. So you can use other radios over CAT to control the amp. There's also a BCD input. Some radios use BCD, so you can control it that way. And there's also a CI5 or CIV, whichever you call it, for the ICOM bus. So any radio on the market can basically control the amp. And it does have frequency sensing, so it can even select frequency based on an RF input. So it is ready for any radio on the market. Anything I missed there?
No, I think we've pretty much touched it. We also have an intro video for it on the YouTube channel that where I walk through. It runs about.
We might want to mention MEMA, right?
MEMA. Oh, yes, got to mention MEMA.
Yeah. So MEMA stands for Maximum Efficiency Algorithm. And some of you may be old enough to remember the term Class C amplifier. In the early days, most CW transmitters were Class C, which means that they're off for more of the cycle than they're on, so they're more efficient. And most linear amplifiers on the market only operate in Class AB. And what that means is that it's biased at the point where the transistors are always on, but they're not biased to the point of Class A, which means that they're never off. Now, all that is to say that for linear operation, you need more bias than you do for things like CW or FSK, which would be RTTY or FT8. And so what we can do is, if you're in any of the nonlinear modes like CW or RTTY or FT8, we can operate the amplifier in a more efficient mode. And how we do that is we turn the bias off. And that means you're closer or very low bias levels, and you're closer to Class C. And you'll have to turn the drive on your radio up, that you have to drive it harder. Because the gain goes down. But what that means is that your amplifier runs cooler, more efficient, so that you can run basically continuous operation in a contest or calling CQ on FT8, etc. So you can run in a higher duty cycle with a cooler amplifier. And that is unique to the Power Genius.
I was on the chat with one of the other developers the other day, and I was trying to understand the way it was working, and he said, "Oh no, give it 4 or 5 transmission cycles, and MEMA will continue to optimize itself for your drive." And you are correct. Normally, for what I was doing on 6-meter scatter is what it was. Without MEMA, I was able to get like 15 watts drive for my maximum power out in Canada, which is 750 watts. But I did the math with the current and the voltage and it was, there's a lot of heat being generated. But once I dialed that back and drove the radio up to 60 watts drive, the efficiency increased to, it was a huge difference. And it took a couple of cycles, and I could see it could get better. So something new to me that I just learned in the last few weeks.
So anything else you guys want to talk about on the amplifier? I had a couple other things to share, and then probably have to get back to you.
No, I think we're great. JP, anything you can think of?
They're ready to be shipped, and we just started financing on our website. That's another option for people. Maybe you have an old amp. You can use that old amp as a down payment and, financing the rest. So we're trying to make it easier for people to get their Power Genius. Actually, you can finance all our products on our website, but now we're talking about the amp. It's a great opportunity for people that they have maybe a second backup amp to trade that in and get the new Power Genius.
Yeah, that's a brand new thing we've added is financing just a week ago, maybe.
Yep. We already have happy financing customers. Yes.
Well, that's great, and I think that's all we have. Then, Gerald, anything else you want to add in closing? And then we'll.
I just wanted to add one other thing that's kind of cool. Is that in the sideband contest, the most recent was it CQ? Was it
WPX?
It's the one where the remote ham radio people using our radios, they won the sideband multi-op
I didn't know
sideband contest. And they had 3 young people operating in that contest. And they were 100% remote. So it was a multi operator station, all remote, and they came out on top. And they had 3 young people, teenagers, which I think is really cool to get young people in. I think contesting is a great way to get young people hooked on the hobby. So that's something we really need to do because a lot of hams look my age. We need some younger hams in the hobby, and that's a great way to do it.
Well, Gerald,
also,
Connor Black's listening, and he was one of those people. And we've, of course, Connor came home and traded everything in, and he's moved over to a 6400, which I think is going to ship next week, Connor. Everything is cleared. So I know you're going to email me about that. He's got that big, that was me on the chat. So, we'll get him on. We'll get him on and have him chat about how what he thought about it.
That'd be great. You should do that. I didn't know he was listening. Another one was Delta 4 Charlie operated all remote too, and that they had a big win as well. So that was kind of cool. That's pretty much all I have for today.
And we didn't talk about this, so I didn't prep Gerald about it, but the tuner is coming. There's work happening on the tuner, so a lot longer than any of us would like, but we're getting there. That's about all I can say. And so I won't put him on the spot to say anything, but it does exist. And all right, well, Gerald, thank you very much. And JP, anything in closing? We went a little long. We told Gerald we're going to take 10 minutes of his time, but I think he had a good time while he was here.
Yeah, we like to talk. We're hams. We're talking about radio amplifiers, antennas. I mean, that's how it goes. That's how it goes for me when I'm on the phone also. So it's completely fine.
Perfect. Well, thank you, everybody. Have a great weekend. I meant to check and see what contests were on this weekend. And of course, if you don't know, you can always look at the contest calendar and find out. And I'm looking at a couple of screens here of chat, so trying to see if I can attach anything or address anything. And if you need any more information, there was a bunch of questions that rolled by. Just email us at, and we want to use email so we can give you a good reply and some details and maybe some links. Email us at info@flex-radio.com, and Matt, myself, JP will probably respond, and we'll get you going. Thanks very much. Have a great weekend, everybody. Stay safe, as everybody says. And, it's summer's coming for us in the Northern Hemisphere. Looking forward to it. Take care.
73.
73. Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye.